still some people coming in. I'll just have them sit down first before we start. Okay, so let's do 10 minutes of meditation together. And I will guide you through it a little bit. And then afterwards I'll teach a bit more about meditation and how to relate to your mind. And then I think the rest of the day we'll do more meditation and we'll see. But let's first just arrive in this place together by doing 10 minutes of meditation first. And I'll start with the bell, and also after 10 minutes I'll invite the bell again. So, welcome everybody here at the Buddhist Fellowship. And just take a moment to really arrive at this place. You have arrived physically already, but also arrive mentally, because you may have been rushing around to get here. And sometimes the mind is still all over the place. And even though the body is here, the mind is still sometimes somewhere else. So just take these 10 minutes just to really be here and realize that we are here together right now. Just bring your awareness to this building, to this hall. And realize, right now I am here. And realize that you have arrived here. And for a while, as long as you're here at the Buddhist Fellowship, there's nowhere else you need to be. There's nowhere else we need to go today, at least for as long as we're here. And there's also no need to think about other places as long as we're here. It's the habit of the mind to get stuck in the past or to start planning the future And it's sometimes difficult or somehow uneasy to just settle where you are. But today, give your mind, give yourself that opportunity to just be here and enjoy not having to worry about anything else or any other places. Just arrive here in this hall. There's some air conditioning going on, some cars driving by, my voice you hear. All these things are all part of the present moment. And just allow all these things to come to you as they are. Also arrive in your body and just feel whatever is going on in your body right now at this moment in time without negativity or any judgment. Just feel what it's like right now to live this moment in time. And you might already notice your mind might not want to be exactly in this moment. It's already starting to get judgments or thoughts about changing things or anything having to do with the future. But actually those thoughts in a way are also part of the present moment. So just allow the mind to be here as well, just as you allow the body to be here. welcome this moment. Embrace this moment. And by doing so, you also welcome yourself into this moment. And embrace your body and mind. Embrace yourself as you are. And open your heart to this, to all that is going on. Open your heart to yourself. This is also a good moment perhaps to just reflect upon the fact that we are all here together. There's many people here, which is wonderful. So open up your heart to all the other people as well and accept them into the moment as well, in a sense. Just send out some kind feeling, some kind thoughts to all these people here spending the day with us. Later on today or in your life, whenever you meditate, there's plenty of opportunities to sort of crawl inside yourself, go deep inside and forget about the external world. But now just for a moment, as this 10-minute meditation comes to an end, do the opposite and send out kind thoughts to all the others who are here. And I've peeked at the roster and it says at the end of the day we dedicate the merits to other beings. But let's do that at the beginning instead, mentally. Because it makes the meditation so easy. We do it not just for ourselves, but for others as well. So if you would like to, you can already dedicate the merits of whatever meditation you do today. Dedicate it to others, to the other people here. Use your own words or thoughts or feelings to do so. Saying something like, today I meditate for all of you and not for myself. You might notice that just this attitude alone already takes some of the burden, a way of having to perform for yourself in a way. You can find some peace by dedicating your meditation to others. And take a moment to really allow this peace to sink in. If you were able to find some during this 10 minutes, just allow it to come back again. If it wants to. Whatever little bit of peace or contentment you were able to find, just let it stay with you, if it wants to, as I ring the bell 3 times to signal the end of this short introduction meditation. All right, excellent. So, that was the meditation for today. From now on you can relax. No more need to perform or reach anything. You are done. From now on, when you sit down, close your eyes, or you can also keep your eyes open, and you do no more meditation. We're not going to do anything anymore. We're just going to sit there and be happy. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? Because often in meditation, we always try to reach something. And we're always trying to do something. And this is actually what creates a lot of restlessness inside of us often. Who were here for my talk yesterday? Yeah, quite a few people. So yesterday I talked about contentment and being happy when nothing special happens. And especially to be happy when nothing special happens in meditation. Because you might have heard certain teachings about meditation and you are like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna reach the enlightenment or the jhanas or the stream entry, whatever you've heard. If you don't know these terms, good for you, because then you don't need to strive for these things. Forget about them. When you're meditating, you're in the present moment, and we're not thinking about what are we going to attain, because all these thoughts, they are just creating a lot of restlessness usually. And there's different ways to look at meditation. Sometimes it's useful to think about meditation in a way like, okay, I'm going to create some happiness, some peace. But often, if we think like that, we actually create less happiness and less peace, because we are setting a goal for ourselves, and we are here and we want to be there. And if we are here and we want to be there, we always create lots of desire and lots of restlessness inside of ourselves. And this is one of the obstacles to deep meditation. Deep meditation is actually starts with just the ability to be in the present moment and not to set any goals for ourselves. Just to be here and be happy and content with whatever happens. That's why I say you already did all your meditation for today. When you meditate later, you just sit there and be happy to be here. Be happy to be here at this place with all these lovely people together. And actually that attitude, that is what really meditation is about. Because with that attitude, you'll find that the mind becomes more still and more at ease. And there's actually a simile that my teacher Ajahn Brahmali often gives when he teaches meditation, and many people find it very helpful. And so I want to teach this to you as well. I know many of you have heard it before, but it's very, very helpful, so I'll teach it again. It's the simile of the cup of water, actually. Can I take this off? No. Doesn't matter. There's water inside this cup. I can see it, and it's moving. Yeah, the water is moving. And now my job is to get the water to be perfectly still. And how do I get the water to be still inside of this cup? Well, I'm gonna try get the water still. I'm holding the cup still. Be quiet, water, be still. No, it's still moving, just believe me. And the harder I try, the more I keep hold of the cup, actually, the more I start shaking, and the more the water starts moving. So, what do you do to get the water still? Does anybody have a suggestion? Yes, you've heard this before. You put it down. And when you put the cup down, many people know this, and they also know this for meditation. They know, okay, I have to let things go and let things settle by themselves. But what do? They know to put the cup down, and they're like, is the water still yet? No. Is the water still yet? But Ajahn Brahmali and Sunyo and other monks, they told me if I put the cup down, it's going to be still, but it's not working. And this is what you sometimes do in meditation. You're told to be in the present moment, be content with whatever happens. But it's not working. Stupid teachings. But the thing is, you keep picking up your mind and you keep judging it. Like, it's not still yet, stupid mind. So what should I do? Well, this doesn't work, the putting down, so I'm just going to hold it again. And try and make the mind still again. But that's not the way to meditate. The way to meditate is to put the mind down and let it there for long enough for it to become still. Now the water is still moving a little bit. Actually, it's already stopped. Now the water is still, which stands for the mind being still. And this is very counterintuitive to approach problems in life in this way, because we're taught in school and we're taught in our jobs that if you have to solve a problem, you got to do it. You got to really work for it. But in meditation, it's really quite the opposite. The Buddha said, if you want to reach the deep meditations, if you want to reach what he called samadhi, then you have to make letting go the object of meditation. Letting go is the method to reach peace. And it's not trying to do stuff with your mind or your body. Sometimes it's useful to do a little bit of things in meditation, but if you really want to go deep, you can remember this simile of the water in your cup. You have to put the mind down. And if you do that, it will settle all by itself. I'm going to put it down here. And that is really hard to do, actually. because we are so used, as I said before, to doing stuff, to solve problems by getting involved in the problems. There's a problem and we go out and we solve it. We really get a hands-on approach is what we're sometimes taught. Yeah, get in there and solve the thing. And often when we meditate, we have the same attitude. We notice there's restlessness inside of us, maybe some ill will, annoyance, sleepiness. I had a lot of sleepiness this morning meditating because I just arrived yesterday from a long flight from Europe. So, and how do I approach the sleepiness this morning? Do I go away, sleepiness? No, shouldn't be sleepy. If I do that, I just create more restlessness, and by being more restless, I become more sleepy as well. Sometimes it helps, as I said before, to be a bit more active in meditation, but most of the time, people are too active. They do too much. They get too much involved in their minds. They think they are in control. If they want to make the mind peaceful, if you think that if I want to be peaceful, I have to do it. But that is very wrong view, because that is not how the mind works, and that is especially not how deep meditation works. Deep meditation, the Buddha said, comes from letting go, which means it happens not because you do it, but all by itself. And there is a simile that I like to teach to get this idea across. And do you have any theme parks here in Singapore or anything like that, like Euro Disney or something? Yeah? And what is it called? Universal Studios. Oh, okay, like the movie thing. Yeah. Okay, so maybe one of you have been there, and often there, I remember actually, I think it was in like Warner Studios in Europe or something, Warner Bros. Studios, also a movie studio, and they had this ride for the kids to go in, and it was little cars that drove on the rails through some scenery, and the cars, they move about, and the kids, I went in there, and what do you get? Well, I'm gonna use this, but you get a steering wheel inside of the car. Yeah? And you sit in the car. Oh, a right turn. And you drive the right turn. You turn the steering wheel. And as a kid, you start believing that you are in control of the car. But it's just on the rails. And the wheel is not connected to anything. But when we meditate, we believe that the steering wheel is connected to our minds in a way. We think we are in control. But meditation is really about realizing that, like the car is on a rail, the mind really has a mind of its own, you could say. It does its own thing. And when we actually start turning the wheel, we only make things worse, actually. We think we are in control, but it's actually mostly an illusion. So then, when you realize this, you can let go of the wheel. And then you can actually relax and see that the car, the mind, moves all by itself. Like the car moves over the rails, the mind goes by itself, and you can just be there and be content, like this. And you go right and left, wherever the mind needs to go, regardless of your hands on the steering wheel. The simile is not really complete. You get the idea, I suppose, but actually, in meditation it is, if you start turning the wheel, the mind actually falls off the track. You only make things worse. You need to take hands off the steering wheel, like maybe Google car nowadays, or Tesla's actually cars. Yeah, this used to be like future technology, but it's actually right here, right now. hands off the steering wheel, because the car knows better than you actually. Apparently these Tesla cars, they crash less than people. And the mind is like that as well. If you get involved, you crash more often. And it's better to keep your hands off the wheel and let the mind do its own thing. Actually, this is one of the reasons why we take the 3 refuges and the precepts. Because it's based on the refuges and the precepts. We take trust in that instead of our own ability. We take trust in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha is a way to let go of our own control, in a sense. That's one reason why we can take the 3 refuges. We trust that there is, let's say, something, quote, unquote, higher that guides our mind. And it is the precepts also that guide the mind in meditation. The Buddha always said, from the sila, from the virtue comes the samadhi, comes the meditation, and from the meditation comes the wisdom. So really the precepts are the basis, and on that basis the meditation develops. And we can even tell ourselves, okay, I keep the precepts today, or probably many of you have kept them for much longer than today. And actually to have the trust and faith that keeping these precepts will benefit your meditation automatically. It's like, in a way, getting your hands off the wheel, because you know that you already have the underlying basis that is necessary for meditation. And when I say this, many people I see, yeah, they're nodding. I understand. But then, in a moment, we'll be meditating, and it's just the nature of the mind to get involved again and always try to go somewhere that we are not. It's so hard to be content, isn't it? Sometimes we think we are content in life, but then we sit down to meditate, and it's like we zoom in on our mind and we see that it's actually very often not content at all. It's actually moving about quite a bit, and it's hard to be in the present moment, and it's really hard to arrive there. That's why I started the meditation today with arriving in the present moment. And you might think, well, that's easy, Sunyo, I'm here. Can't you see? I'm here in this hall. You said arrive in this hall, but I am here. But I meant, of course, arrive mentally in this hall and arrive in this moment. And if you are able to do so and really arrive in the moment with the mind, then you will already find lots and lots of peace. It's actually surprising how much peace and happiness you can find just by being here. And as I said before, you might have heard about very deep meditations, and there's lots and lots more peace and happiness there. But just being able to be here with whatever happens, even if they are not deep meditations, even if you're suffering, and just to still be happy and content with that, just to be here with whatever happens, that is already so much peace. And that is such a great way to live at least part of your life. If you just taste that today, some little moments of just being here and being content with whatever happens, then you are very on the way to really understanding what meditation is about. And then in those moments you are like, everything is fine, everything is perfect. And that is one way to get rid of lots of so-called problems in meditation. Because if you are like that, you are like, I'm so happy to be here, then that is what is meant by putting down the cup of water. That is what is meant by having a restless mind, which is like the moving water. Putting it down is like having a still mind, like the water is still right here, right now. and with a still mind, at least on some level, you start to see things more clearly. And not only do you get happiness, you also get more mindfulness, more awareness as well. Because, does that make sense so far? At least on some level, yeah? Probably many of you have meditated already many times before, and you know what I'm talking about. You know these moments of peace, yeah? And you know, yeah, there is something in there, and that's why you're here, probably. Because you know this kind of happiness is very pure and very, it doesn't rely upon anything in the world. You can find it inside of yourself, and that is what makes it so beautiful. But it's also, sometimes you find it and it disappears very quickly again. And then you're like, I knew how to do it. I knew how to make the mind still, so now I'm going to do it again. You think you know how to meditate, and now you try to replicate the past, the peace you had in the past. But then you're not in the present moment again, because now you're back with the past, the meditation you had before, and now you're creating restlessness again. You're trying to make things happen again. So one way to meditate is actually, what I do sometimes is like, okay, I am a monk. I dedicate my life to meditation. And people expect me to reach all the deep meditations. But I have already reached everything that I will reach in this life. From now on, it's just gonna be suffering and restlessness in my mind. So I can just sit here and be happy with that. I don't need to have the deep meditations. And you see, that attitude, actually, just switching the way you look at meditation, that is actually what gives rise to letting go. And as I said before, letting go is what the Buddha said actually leads to the deep meditations. So by not actually wanting to reach deep meditations, you actually lay the basis to actually reaching them. So that is what I hope you will all, I was going to say try to do today, but don't try to do anything. Just be happy to be here. And whatever happens, it's fine. Today may be the most suffering day of your life. But if you are content and happy with that, then that is, you are the best meditator here. Because actually when you allow suffering to be, that is when suffering disappears. And this is very, as I said before, counterintuitive. It's not the way we usually approach life, because we try to solve problems and we try to make suffering disappear. We try to create everything. We try to control everything. And especially suffering, we don't want it. So we try to push it away. And so when you're meditating later and you might find restlessness or whatever, or you might have pain in your foot, like I have now. What did they call that in cramps in my foot? Yeah. So you want it to go away, and if you have that, then you just create more suffering. And there's a little story I made up. Why are you laughing? You think it's going to be a bad story because I made it up, right? Well, just be content with the bad stories as well. No, there may be more later on today, I don't know. Better get used to it. But it's the story about the postman and the dog. And this story happened. Where did it happen? You have postmen here as well, I suppose, yes. But I suspect not everybody lives in the high-rise. There's also people with a house with a garden somewhere. That's where this story happened. There was a postman and he was delivering the mail to all the houses and the high rises as well. But this time he got to the houses and he opened the fence gate to get into the garden to put the mail in the door. And when he opened the fence gate, what happened? Woof, woof, woof. There was a big dog, like a Rottweiler or something. Really scary guard dog, you know. One of those really scary ones. I was attacked by a dog once, so this story really feels close to me. But the dog ran after the postman, and the postman, he went running, run away. And what did he do? He ran throughout the whole of Singapore. He ran through the airport, and he ran to the seaport, and back and forth, through all the streets, with the dog chasing him. Woof, 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 woof. And the postman just run. And he never could get away from the dog. The distance always stayed the same. They were just as fast as the dog. Now the postman tried to throw all his packages at the dog, tried to get away from the dog in whatever way possible. But as I said, the dog always on his heels and always ready to bite him. But never really bit him, always just one step behind. But then the postman ran, and he took a turn in downtown Singapore. And he ran into an alleyway. And what happened? This was a dead end. A dead end. And he ran to the end of the alleyway and turned around, because behind him was a wall. To the left of him was a wall. To the right of him was a wall. And in front of him, the Rottweiler, yes, the dog. And the dog jumped up at the postman and licked him in the face. And then the dog turned around and ran away. And then the postman was like, "Wait, come back. And ran after the dog. And what does this simile stand for? The dog stands for suffering. And we always try to get away from suffering. We try to run away as fast as we can. We run away to the east of Singapore, to the west of Singapore. We run away in our minds, of course, is what I mean. We always try to run away from the restlessness inside, from the ill will inside, whatever things going on inside your mind. You try to run away from it, or what happens in your body. You try to run away from suffering. But meditation is actually the skill of, in a way, stop running. And one day you will reach the dead end. And the dead end is the deep meditations. And you realize, even here I can't get away from suffering. Because even the deep meditations is still things going on that are suffering. And this is what the Buddha taught, the really deep ideas. Then you realize there is nowhere to run, because it's a dead end. Wherever you go, you will be faced by the dog of suffering. So then all you can do is stop running and let suffering be. And when you let go and don't try to run anymore, then suffering actually starts running away from you. Suffering starts disappearing. And then you're like, no, but I like my suffering, don't go away. And this is really the deep ideas. When you really let go fully, completely of everything, that is when you realize the deepest peace of Nibbana. But that is probably not going to happen today. So don't create any illusions or any desires like, today I'm gonna be the stream winner. I'm gonna face the dog today. Because you will probably still be running from left to right today. And you won't find the deep meditations today. But who knows? Might happen. But anyway, where am I going with this? Even if you don't fully let go of everything, let go as much as you can. And try not to create things in a way. Allow things to be. And just like the similes of the water, where you just put down the cup and allow the water to be still by itself. And the simile of the cart on the rails, where you stop turning the wheel and you just sit back and enjoy the ride. That is the way to meditate and the way to really go deep. And then one day you might be able to let go completely. But for now, we just let go of whatever the mind wants to let go. Because when people like me teach about letting go, then the next question people always have is, but how do I do it? How do I do the letting go? But that is again trying to do something. And that is the opposite of letting go. If you want to do the letting go, you still don't really understand what letting go is about. Letting go is about letting things be and being content with whatever happens. Being content also when nothing special happens today. Today, actually, whatever happens, just like the simile with the dog, that will be suffering, in a way. So, even very peaceful meditations, the Buddha said, are still dukkha. So, we might as well be content with whatever dukkha we have. If it's a lot, it's nice. If it's a little, it's also nice. We're just happy to be here and see life as it is, and to be here together in this hall, and just to sit here and be content. So that is what we're gonna hopefully experience today, is some of this peace. The peace that comes from acceptance, and the peace that comes from kindness towards this moment. And I haven't mentioned the word kindness before, but actually the ability to be content always goes hand in hand with the ability to be kind. Because to be content with whatever happens, we first have to really accept what is happening. To be content with this moment, content with our body and mind, we have to really accept our body and minds, and in a way really make friends with this moment, with this body and mind. If we do that, we are kind to ourselves. So kindness and contentment, really two sides of the same coin. So I think now it's time to do some more guided meditation. Yeah? But maybe we do 5-minute break until 10 o'clock, so people can go to toilet first or whatever. And then I'll start the guided meditation in 5 minutes.